Well, good evening, folks, or good morning, depending on. I guess it's up to you to download the show and listen to it at your own leisure, at either the morning time, nighttime, good what have you. It's another beautiful night here, or morning,
or afternoon,
and it could be shitty out. I don't know.
All right, everybody, we are live with episode 3 of the MERC podcast. And as always, we have to do the disclaimer for people that will likely have complaints. So just as a heads up, this is an entertainment comedy podcast and in no means is intended as an educational one. So with that being said, if you're easily offended at comedy shows, movies, TV, or any other form of entertainment, please don't listen. I appreciate the download, but don't listen. If you're incapable of occasionally hearing something that contradicts your views without outright instinctually getting offended, please don't listen. I'm heavily of the idea that everything and anything can be funny, and anybody and everybody should have their own voice. So I feel with that being said, anything can and should be laughed at. Takes away the power from some of the ideas that might be able to harm others or affect you negatively. So with that being said, welcome to the 3rd episode of the MERC podcast. Never back down, the back down. Now for gaming news this week, we're going to be talking about Yakuza 6. Actor was suspended from the talent agency due to an organized crime link. So this one was a little bit just awkward. I guess just cultural customs in Japan are just so different in this case. One of the voice actors who plays one of the characters in the Yakuza series is just going to be basically retconned and deleted from the history of this game just because he basically knows a friend of a friend who's actually in the Yakuza. So, I mean, the irony of that, I guess irony, but that just kind of sucks. If you guys haven't played that series, it's definitely worth getting it if you're a Japanophile or just love the culture and just want something out of the ordinary. That game is awesome. Go get it. Any one of the series, honestly. Go for it. Now, Bandai Namco, while we're speaking about anything Japanese, has announced a 3 versus 3 One Punch Man game. And I'm just so happy because this is going to be available for everything, basically. PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And, I mean, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to work a One Punch Man series, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And let's pretend that there wasn't an awkward pause there, but we are back and done with that previous story of One Punch Man. Now, the boss of Game Freak, if you've been keeping up with this podcast, they've been coming up quite a bit because of their Pokemon game, has stated, quote, "Thank you for caring. Recently shared news that some of these Pokemon cannot be transferred, thus confirming that they will not fix this issue." And they're also complaining about the budget. Now, spending so much time on the animation, which still sucks for the 3D models, don't fight me. They just do. They suck. The 3D models currently suck for Pokemon. They could be better considering what's out there already. Now, I just don't know what's going on because when you compare this to games like the old Pokemon Coliseum and Stadium, that had better graphics than what they currently have right now for the 3DS. And the 3DS should be able to outperform games for Coliseum and Stadium at this point. There's really no excuse. Now, I feel like, honestly, the production has been kind of stagnant since 2006 whenever it comes to Pokemon games. What I want, personally, is just a large 3D world done right. And instead, we have the following. I mean, they're basically removing the difficulty option, removing contests, removing seasons, removing super training, removing PSX, the Dex Nav, Mega Evolution, and also removing Pokemon. Let's not forget about that one. All right, that's enough of a rant on that end. Now, still with gaming news, Google wanted to step in to games. They basically wanted to create a Netflix of games of just streaming services, the Google Stadia. Now, the boss believes that, now, personally, biggest complaint right now with the Google Stadia, it's impractical. Nobody's going to have the sufficient bandwidth and speed capabilities to handle a game with no lag. Unless you're a person that is perfectly fine with your game being choppy at times, especially for those high action sequences, and especially for fighting games, that's a no-go for me. You can't do that. You're just going to ruin the experience, and you're just going to have a shitty, watered-down version of the game. But, again, as I was mentioning, the boss of the Stadia is stating that he believes that the internet service providers will meet the data needs and literally go through mountains to make sure that people have the right speed to give them good quality for their games. Not going to happen. So with that being said, Google is no longer a threat in the video game industry. There's just no way that they're going to be able to move past that. It's just dead in the water. Now, we are going to be covering a bit of news now, and with that being said, here we go.
It's time for another edition of Guess the News.
I have to know more information. I shouldn't have read just this headline. From the headlines that I've read, this man is innocent. Here's the victim.
Man, these guys don't know shit.
It seems that now I'm rarely going to try to get political here, so I generally don't like to cover those kind of topics. So, we're briefly going to touch up on some of these. And again, no, not picking sides or anything here. Apparently, several suspected U.S. spies are due to be sentenced to death, Iran says. All right. And Highway Patrol pulled over a hearse in the HOV lane. The driver pointed to the back and asked, "That guy doesn't count," pointing to the guy in the casket. I love that guy. Honestly, I feel like he's justified in that situation. I don't think anywhere in terms of the law it says that the person has to be alive or dead. So, I mean, kudos to him. Hopefully, things don't get more awkward and people try to test that ruling there. Now, Sony just recently honored the Walkman in their 40th anniversary with a tribute and exhibition video. Now, in my opinion, the Walkman was monumental. I wasn't around for it, but the best press that they honestly got to this day was Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Not just the fact that they showed the product there, but the most impressive thing was, in that entire movie, honestly, was the fact that Peter Quill's headphones still survive the 30-ish year span that he had those. Because my headphones tend to never make it past a few months. So honestly, that was just impressive. Now, this next story is a bit morbid, but I mean, at least it had a good ending. So keep that in mind. A man was dragged into a bear den and kept as a future meal for this bear for nearly a month. He was found alive. And that news was apparently so relevant that it made it onto one of my podcasts, and they honestly did so much of a better job at covering this. Here we go.
Of the week. Real ass dude.
Okay, so we're looking at a guy who was dragged away by a bear and found alive a month later in its den. He was rescued. There's actually a video of him in the hospital. Yeah, we've got a video of him in the hospital, like opening his eyes and saying and confirming his name. If you want to check it out.
No way. Yeah, let's see. This guy was dragged into a bear, and he was found in a mummy-like state a month later because the bear was saving him to eat him. Whoa. Oh, God. Nigga looks like Zach. Let me see. Oh, can he get some volume? Oh, my fucking God.
I don't think there's sound on this video.
There's no sound there?
No.
What did he say?
Is that really real?
He's basically just confirming he had to live off his own urine for a month. But he's just confirming his name. They just asked him that's all he said so far.
So
oh my God.
The bear didn't leave the den for a whole month?
That bear is gross.
The bear could leave. The bear would go in and out. He wasn't able to by a certain point.
He was
even on like day 1, 2, or 3, you probably still have the energy to
guess.
crawl out of there.
The bear basically mauled him really, like he couldn't go anywhere, but it was storing him for food, so it would like pick at him over the course of the month.
Oh my god.
Like just a fucking box of chicken next to your bed. Oh,
You know what I think?
Please stop eating me slowly.
He's probably in an abusive relationship with that bear. That's true. He didn't want to leave because he thought he deserved it.
I definitely thought bear was the gay man terminology.
Doggy, that guy is definitely a Real Estate of the Week nominee. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's going to be hard to beat.
And who's he sue? Who does he sue?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah, somebody.
What? All right, who else is up for Real Estate of the Week?
So we have the
The
Dallas.
bear.
Should be.
I gotta say, I might actually put the bear up for a nominee.
Let's hear the bear side of the story.
I didn't know you couldn't do that.
Go ahead. The Dalai Lama.
Dalai-
All right. And with that basically covers our short little bit of current event and news. We're moving on to Monday Night Raw for July the 1st, 2019. We started right off the bat with no promo, just a straight up fight as it should be. We had the Strowman versus Lashley fight, which unfortunately it did end with a bit of a just no contest when Strowman just tackled Lashley through the Tron. And I mean, honestly, I have to do this for this.
Nice catch, Blanco Nino. But too bad your ass got sacked.
Because basically that's what ended up happening to Lashley. I mean, the dude just got pummeled right through the Tron, all special effects and everything, pyro shooting out, big controversy, leading up to their upcoming match for Extreme Rules. And the New Day comes out going against the Viking Raiders. I'm pretty sure that's their name currently as of right now, so we're sticking to it with that. The match gets interrupted by Joe attacking Woods, and the Raiders are now, I guess, heels in this segment because they were just attacking an outnumbered New Day. And until we're back from commercial break, predictably, guess what happened? It's now a 6-man tag. It's the full New Day taking on the Viking Raiders and the one and only
Joe!
as Samoa Joe is teaming up with the Viking Raiders. Joe eventually ends up getting the win by choking out Kofi. And now we have the Good Brothers with AJ. Now this is 3 weeks in a row. So hell yeah, I mean we're finally getting those guys some good coverage. And Cesaro is later let's see right here. Now, No Way Jose has a run-in with R-Truth in the ring. Now, Cesaro is also in the ring, which then, by the way, we're keeping that mistake on there. I purposely just tripped over myself. But there's no way in hell I'm going to go ahead and edit this out because it's already way too late as it is. Now, Cesaro just ends up destroying No Way Jose. That's the end of that. And on to the next segment. I just only had one thing to say.
What?
Because I don't know what was going on here. We had the Street Profits on Monday Night Raw. My only reaction to this, it's a good one, but my only reaction is just, I mean, I'm not complaining, but I mean, just please don't let these guys go into obscurity. I mean, they're currently tag champs over in NXT, but I'm just kind of wondering what this is going to lead to. Now, we have a second segment with the Good Brothers tonight, trying to intimidate Ricochet. Then cut to AJ accusing Ricochet of talking behind his back. Both of them exchange a couple of slaps. Now, this feud could help elevate and bring some more needed attention to the U.S. title, to which Ricochet is currently holding. Here's hoping that we get a slow good burn for that. We'll just wait and see. And we have a 2 out of 3 falls match with The Miz taking on Elias. Miz gets the first fall, Elias gets the second fall. Commercial break. We're back, and Miz gets the final definitive victory on this with a figure 4 lock submission over Elias. Now, more oddities going on backstage as we have a segment with Seth and Becky when confronted by Mike and Maria. And I'm all for a person that typically doesn't get much exposure to be put in a place like this. That way they can get the spotlight. But in watching this, I only hope for Mike and Maria to win their upcoming match that they're going to have against Seth and Becky by interference or something along like that. Just that way you can help get them, I guess some sympathy is the right word that we're looking for. But of course, people do pronounce that way more better than me.
You don't get my sympathy at all.
Now, for the baby faces, for Seth and Becky moving forward, they probably would be getting that sympathy if this match were to end in a DQ, which honestly, as a babyface, I feel like that's something that's much needed in these cases. Now, moving forward with the match, Maria is chastising Mike and avoiding an assault from Becky by now saying that she's pregnant, but then further chastising Mike, which then ended up in him losing and tapping out to Becky. And we go to backstage. Paul Heyman is then accompanied by the Street Profits. This makes me just think about the potential for Riddle hopefully making an appearance soon, as he's always just been teasing about how he wants to retire Lesnar. Wow, we're keeping that around. Lesnar. And we move on to a segment with Nikki and Alexa. Now, there's a moment of bliss that's going to be hosted by Nikki, and who later went on to gain a victory in her match to go against the champ Bayley. Alexa then in quick fashion loses to Carmella, and Carmella is now going against Nikki. Nikki gets the win over Carmella. Slight gripe, the announcers didn't get hype about Nikki hitting her finish over Carmella. They just were talking over the whole thing. I mean, no complaints there or anything, but I feel like that should have been a moment to highlight somebody's success. We move back to backstage. Nikki and Alexa are in another segment about how people want Nikki to get the title shot, which is then shot down by Alexa, as it should be. And the 24/7 7-Eleven Championship segment, third one for the night. Not that I'm counting or anything. Maverick gets the title from Truth and takes off for his honeymoon. AJ and Ricochet are now in a segment leading up to their tag match in standard WWE fashion. Let's see here. Alrighty. Now, moving forward, we have this match happening again for the third time. And I think this time for the US title. AJ hits the forearm, pins Ricochet while his foot was under the rope, because pro wrestling, we get refs arguing for the victory. The match gets restarted. Good Brothers are at ringside now. Ricochet still, however, gets a roll-up victory over Styles, thus retaining the US title. And we got definitely one of my highlights of the show.
Oh, yes! Yes! Oh! Oh! Yes! Yes! I'll have what he's having.
My literal reaction. AJ's now a heel with the Good Brothers. The club is back when they ended up jumping Ricochet after the finish of that match, delivering a brutal-looking top rope Styles clash to Ricochet, and then, of course, the Too Sweet pose-off with the cameras ending the show. That's it for Monday Night Raw. Following night, Tuesday, we have SmackDown. Now, Kevin Owens is a good guy. Kevin Owens is a bad guy, and I was kind of confused about this segment in the beginning for Kevin Owens mainly, for the Kevin Owens show that he had. And we have into the picture, we have this man coming in. Alrighty. Now, in that being said, we had Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre then interrupt a segment with Dolph Ziggler, to which Kevin Owens made Shane McMahon irritated. And then we have a tag match of Dolph and Owens taking on Heavy Machinery. Now, if they win, they're going to be added to the tag match at Extreme Rules, making it a triple threat. Now, I myself am not sure where this is going to go. But then again, we did have the bar just pop up out of nowhere a few years back, which is our own Sheamus. And those guys delivered great matches. So I'm all for it, so long as they commit to it. We then go to backstage and introduced by none other than... That probably blew out a couple ears, but whatever. We have the New Day in a segment with Big E and Xavier Woods talking about the new tag team stipulation, followed by the iconic introduction of Big E, as heard just a second ago. Now, as they walk out, they mention that this is going to be a singles match with Big E going against Daniel Bryan. Question mark. That's definitely a clash of styles, pun intended. And I guess I'm myself am just super interested to see how this match is going to work out. I mean, we have a very technically savvy Daniel Bryan going against the powerhouse of Big E, Daniel Bryan being the heel and Big E being the babyface. That honestly is my favorite kind of matchup. I love to see just the small heelish bad guy getting one over against the obvious hero. And it definitely ended up working out. With an assist from Bro, and Daniel Bryan ends up picking the victory as he takes apart Big E's knee for the majority of the match. We go backstage now with R-Truth just showing how he lost his 24/7 title against Drake Maverick last night on Monday Night Raw. Definitely showing some emotion to it, and I'm loving it. Again, Truth is definitely working this to the fullest potential. And we cut to backstage again, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, as Alexa tells her that she will be hosting a Moment of Bliss tonight. Now, no complaints. At the start of the segment, I wonder if Nikki was instructed to speak slow because of her accent, or I don't know. I never had a problem understanding her. And I hate to say it, but every time I hear a Scottish accent, I always get reminded of Craig Ferguson's bit about Sean Connery. There's no bit here. You guys can go search for that one. That's just good stand-up comedy. And as a result of that Moment of Bliss segment, we have Nikki Cross challenging Bayley to a match. Fairly evenly matched, Bayley still gets the win over Nikki in this one, as I feel that should have been the case. Bayley's the champion. There's no way that she should be losing unless there's the title on the line and it's changing hands, or there's some obvious just heelishness, trickery going on. Then we go backstage and see Kofi as they set up for their face-to-face match with Samoa Joe. And let's see here, we have another vignette by Mustafa Ali as he describes that he wants the WWE Championship to promote change. And honestly, I mean, I'd be for it, but I'm such a fan of Kofi. But, I mean, who would the fans go for in a match against Mustafa Ali versus Kofi? Personally, I would want to see it, but at the same time, I also want Kofi's reign to just go on for an eternity. I mean, not literally, but I would just want this to last because I've been there waiting for it. And we go back to the ring. Kofi makes his way to the ring. I still can't believe, again, how happy I am seeing him wearing that belt. Championship. Samoa Joe makes his way to the ring and is still a fan favorite because we get a Sea of Samoa Joe chants going across. And prior to this, Joe kicks Kayla out of the ring as she was holding the microphone up to him. Kofi makes a joke about Joe's size, and of course we have to drop that in there. He's fat! And Kofi gives a low blow to Joe and his family about how they will never be able to enjoy a WrestleMania moment much like he had this year. Truth! And it hurts. But they are right. I mean, when you talk about historical moments, it doesn't get any bigger than what Truth had. And wow, I mean, I was surprised at how this segment ended up. We had Kofi just straight up coyly giving the finger to Joe, and it wasn't cut off or anything, and he still had that beautiful, perfect Kofi smile as he was giving this. And I wonder if this has anything to do with the new leadership of Heyman and Bischoff kind of running the things backstage now. We cut to a Lashley segment where some profanity was said. And what kind of profanity?
You son of a bitch.
That kind of profanity. Now, back to the ring. We have Andrade taking on Apollo. Andrade gets the win in this one with an assist from Selena Vega, as it should have been, because, I mean, you have a heel going against a babyface in that case. Backstage, we have another segment with Dolph and Owens. They're actually going to try to make this happen. But what happened to Sami Zayn? I don't know. We'll hopefully see more of him later on in the couple weeks that are followed. Now we have a backstage shot of Ember Moon as she's making her way to face Mandy Rose. Cut to an Aleister Black segment. What happened to Bray's segment? It's been a while. I'm not complaining, but I mean, wanting to see what's going on here. But anyway, Black is still just waiting for an opponent, hopefully for Extreme Rules. Back to the ring. Match starts with Ember Moon. With Ember Moon taking on Mandy, who is accompanied by Sonya Deville. Ember picks up the victory in this case. And oh shit, Shelty B has a backstage segment. He's asked a question in regards to who will win in the upcoming WWE Championship match. But it is only replied by his silence and him looking around for a very, very long time in what is probably going to be a memeable moment that I will be searching for. And you know what? Fuck it. Let's see more of Shelton. I'm all for this. I just hope that this is going to lead into him giving the assist to somebody. And again, we are hopefully able to see more of him. Now, this segment actually was covered in ENC's podcast when they had Truth on recently. And here we go.
I hurt Shelton's feeling, man. And this is a true story. You just brought that up, and you can ask Shelton when you talk to him. Tuesday night, Shelton got mad at me because I would not listen to EPMD. And I told him, I said, dude, what was the other? Eric Sherman, right?
Eric and Parrish making dollars.
Okay, well, Eric was the one that I told him he sucked. He sucked ass. Sorry, I got my daughter in the car, but he was bad. Eric was bad. And I told him, I said, dude, it's just like a tag team. Sometimes you don't get over as well as the other. You need both of y'all. I said, Eric need Parrish and Parrish need Eric. I said, if it ain't You Got to Chill, or what was the other song they had? Wow. And Shelton looked at me and walked off. And he was like,
yeah. Well, that explains his pre-tape then. It was you he was looking at.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was you he was looking at in that pre-tape. That's what happened. You were back there. You were telling about EPMD. He was looking around all confused, and then he just walked away. Blame you for that, too.
And there we go. Definitely worth a listen to for that episode, if you guys don't already follow the ENC podcast. Now, we're on to the main event. Man, those levels are high. And we have a tag match with Dolph and Owens taking on Heavy Machinery, with commentary from the New Day at one side of the announcers, and on the other side we have Daniel Bryan and Rowan, which the result ended up in everybody attacking each other and a double cross between Dolph and Owens, and that's that. End of the show. On to 205 Live. Wow, a good promo from Nice, Gallagher, and Lorcan. I love the pairing. They'll be facing Gulak, Mike, and Daivari, but just wow, I'm super excited for that match. Now, Drake Maverick, the GM, is MIA on his HM. Sorry, honeymoon. And kicking it off, we have the Lucha House Party taking on the Singh Brothers. Once again, a mention that Jalisco just did his first Make-A-Wish, and that this will be a tornado tag match, with Kalisto staying out of this one. Now, I can't help but think about the interview the Singh Brothers did on ENC podcast every time I see them, and the journey that they've had, how long they've been at this, their training, and all the times that they've snuck in the past to WWE events to try to get in. Now, Nigel did make a Freebirds reference and a Von Erichs reference. Way to go, man. You got to rep the World Class Championship Wrestling. And really cool move on Grand Metalik with a reverse sling blade that just looked like a cooler version of a bulldog. And now the Lucha House Party did ended up taking up the win for this episode. The video package leading up afterwards was hyping up the attributes of Humberto Carrillo. Mike Canales is now seen backstage in a segment very emotional over the events that happened last night with Maria, hyping up the match that they have tonight. The 6-man tag match is now set. As mentioned before, this is going to be the trio of Lorcan, Gallagher, and Nice taking on Gulak, Bennett, and Daivari. Lorcan sporting some very appropriate 205 Live colors for his gear this time, and Nice ends up getting the pin victory over Mike Canales. Then everything just goes crazy, everybody just starts attacking each other, and the 205 Live. Unfortunately this week, training, not a negative, got in the way of me, of course, catching NXT and NXT UK, but I guarantee you, like every week, not a miss. Go watch those. Those are definitely the must-sees for WWE any week for anybody. Now, the reason I missed this was because I was actually working for the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 opener here in Dallas, Texas. I was able to participate in the press conference event as just part of the staff, helping out where needed and trying to, of course, stay humble. I, of course, was not involved in any way whatsoever as far as matches, just FYI. As a result of that, I was able to take place at that press conference as mentioned, just due to the fact that it's taking place here in my hometown. And I mean, honestly, I was marking out internally the whole time, keeping that bottled up as much as I can so that I can maintain a shred of professionalism and go back to my days of bodyguarding and security days. I mean, I was just full mode, decked out, basically in security in just Secret Service mode. But I do think that this was the first time that I was honestly starstruck in my life. As mentioned before, I did do this for a living. I did meet a couple celebrities, a couple of comics, and a couple of musicians, but it didn't mean much to me. They were just some guy that had a large fan base. But back to the starstruck moment. As I was in the hallway, Okada walked past me, all smiling in press mode in his suit with that shiny big ass belt on his shoulder. I wanted to shake that dude's hand, say hi, or do something, but I just stood there frozen like a dumbass in a suit. I do think, though, that this was just for sure my highlight of the week. I got to meet Jushin Thunder Liger, help out with the photos. I got to be within arm's reach of Tanahashi. I was able to have a small chat with Juice Robinson. I was able to shake hands with Kota Ibushi, and just, I mean, honestly, in saying that, there's really just one thing that goes through my mind. Just that. Goddamn. Wow. I mean, that man is more attractive in person. And just so humble and nice to all of their fans. All of them were just such class acts and just awesome to be around. Now, but as a result of me working this event, I was able to score a couple tickets to the G1 Climax opener over at the AAC with some amazing seats. Now, I was bummed that I wasn't able to, the best collaboration of merch that I've ever seen in my life, as they ran out of the small size t-shirts of the Hello Kitty NJPW shirts. And I'm not even kidding about that. I would definitely sport that around. Now, top to bottom, this event was a great show. My personal match of the night, since it's my favorite type of styles, was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata. Just spot on, just 10 out of 10, 7 thumbs up, whatever your ranking or your ranking system is for these type of things. That was it for me. Now, my slice of life currently, I'm still going through with my training, and I just wanted to touch on the subject of card subject to change, mainly. More prevalent term for the sake of purposely being vague, there we go. There was an offering for my class to head to Houston, but I was unfortunately not able to attend to it due to scheduling conflicts on my end, which I'm hoping to make it to the next road gig that comes around, and more to it on that. Now, we're on to my personal favorite part of this podcast, the clip show. Enjoy.
When you hear that bomb blast, get a shot glass. Listen to the podcast, it's all up in your mom's ass. Big J kills them like O.J. Simpson or quit. If the fingerless glove don't fit, get break quick by that big dick Dave Smith. He all up in your ribs while he talking politics. Or get bit when you rattled by that Puerto Rican snake. They natural born killers, legion of skanks.
Lewis, or is it an undetermined revenge?
Undetermined revenge. Could be anything. Although, shit's on the table.
Wait,
no,
right
this
now?
is Skankfest. There's shit on the table. Shit, or as we call it at Skankfest, the nuclear option, is on the table.
Yeah, Ari, you know, I gotta be honest with you, man. You're making me a little bit nervous this whole time. I don't really care. Like, if you want to throw a piss at me or whatever you want to do, fine. I don't want to hurt the fans.
Why do I always gotta be sitting between you, your enemies, and fluids?
It's a fair question.
I'm gonna be wearing Ari's number 1 and 2 by the end of this goddamn festival.
Ari, you know, you have to...
He's right, you know. That is how you sound to everybody. Someone finally had the balls to call you on it.
You stink at talking.
Nice fucking talk, dick.
I'm just saying, man, these are your people. They love you. You can't...
They natural born killers, legion of skanks.
He was giving his lead.
This story. Oh my god. He has an iPhone and he's homeless? I'm always confused by that.
This wasn't the only thing. It was, it was just constantly showing up late, constantly fucking things up.
How's he late if he's sleeping here?
So what I told him, I was like, Harrington, go get your shit together, okay?
Hey, boss, sorry I'm late. I overslept.
Go where? Send him to Puerto Rico, dude.
I don't get your shit together and then fucking, be a part of this. Obviously, you're part of the team. We love you, but you're my friend. I was like, I can't continuously try to create opportunities for you and then you not take the ball and run with it and then me feel bad because he's not fucking doing it.
Give him some Adderall. It'll be fine.
So
you can't keep taking the ball and using it as a pillow to sleep on.
Stop eating the ball.
Stop eating it. It's
No,
rubber,
no,
Mike.
no,
It's
no,
rubber.
no.
So
That's
hungry.
leather, man.
Tell this story. Adam was looking up your
I
bodies.
wasn't looking at Max and Hadass because of the podcast. You said morbidly obese.
I didn't say. I said regular obese.
And you said regular.
I said you were profoundly obese.
You said yeah.
and I vehemently
So we
stick
looked
to
up
regular
We
obese.
looked up if what the designation, like what if that's a medical designation. Based on what my approximation of your weight and height was. And it was...
You're what, 5'7" and...
I put 5'7",
260?
260.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Which I think is nice.
Sure.
Fine.
It's a little high right now. Because, by the way, I don't think I'm sticking with vegetarian. It's made me gain weight. I just keep eating
It has?
chips. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
and
I said
Twizzlers
this
and
last
shit.
night. How about vegetarian? And you just eat big cheese
Wedge
pieces?
salads.
Yeah.
Now,
what did it say?
It said, like, either stage 3 or
You
level 3.
might want to sit down even more for this.
Yeah. It said level 3 morbid obesity.
No, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Did you factor in how powerful my legs are?
That's the fucking-
These are all muscle.
You're the Charizard
Okay?
of morbid obesity.
These are all fucking muscle.
It was level.
Look at my calves,
was,
for fuck's sake.
I don't know if it was
This is
stage-
not an obese person's lower
Stavros
body.
is evolving into
Stage or level.
Stavrosian.
Fuck you, motherfuckers.
I don't know if it was stage or level.
Stavrosian used eat.
It was incredibly effective.
Stavrosian used fatten.
By the way, that's not a nuanced enough tool. Because I'm not a regular motherfucker, all right? I got a different kind of body. Sure, my stomach
You don't
needs a
even
little
know.
help.
Nuance to you is like when there's like a dollop of mustard in pea soup.
It's true.
That's the only
What's one of the
context.
kinds of nuances there are?
That is a
that can
that
taste
is-
just a little bit of
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Okay, that is nuance to me. However, I also
hint.
I can't be categorized this easily. I have very powerful haunches.
I'm just saying, in terms of height and weight.
That's not. It's too simplistic a tool.
In terms of BMI.
Most people
BMI,
with this kind of height and weight wouldn't be this powerful. But I'm not most people, Adam. Okay, I'm not level
trying to
3
say that.
morbidly obese. I'm regular obese.
It might
for
be
the last
stage 3.
time.
I'm not sure if it's level 3 or
Whatever it is,
stage 3.
I don't give a fuck. The point is,
And also, like Nick said,
that tool is flawed.
There might be 25 stages. You might be early.
No,
you might be low
I reject.
stage.
No. I
You
won't
might be
even.
low
I will not
stage.
do this.
I'm trying
I'm
to give
not-
it to you easy.
Absolutely not.
I mean, looking at you and knowing that you're stage 3 or whatever, I don't believe there's more than 5 stages.
No, that's a
I can't
false
imagine-
diagnosis.
I can't
These
imagine-
aren't medical professionals. I don't know
can't
what the fuck
imagine
they're talking
2 more
about.
stages after this.
There's no way.
The next stage is, computer monitor pulled up to your bed and you live off fucking Taco Bell 4th meals that are brought to you by some probably mentally disabled Hispanic woman that is your wife or something. I don't really ever know those people's roles. And then stage 5 is
Doing the little hand bike.
yeah, a funeral where the hearse is a U-Haul truck. That's stage 5. It's when they bury you in one of the boxes they ship pianos in.
Anyway, here's the point. I am not that. You bring me a certified stage 3 obese motherfucker, I'll beat them in any test of physical strength.
Ongoing issue.
I was laughing about like stop being like be like his next thing in comedy is to be like one of those girl comics. It's like like about how like women are so bad at sex,
Mhm.
or whatever. But you're like, yeah, they can never find the dick. Women
So
are so
annoying.
incompetent.
Fellas, am I right?
Yeah.
Just silence. Absolute silence. Nah, because they push the fat out and they can barely see it. Then they start spitting, hoping maybe that'll do something. It'll hit the head.
They're licking the lips. They're sucking on the lips.
Sucking on your cock lips. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about.
Big fat
All they-
flaps that envelop your dick.
All they can do is find your very long foreskin and suck on that. Man, my man knows what's up. No, I don't.
I don't know, man. Man, I do not know. Only
Yeah.
you know this.
Damn, that's good, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be at the standing room tonight.
Yeah.
Coming
That'd be great. A guy that goes to an evangelical preacher and he's like, my dick doesn't work anymore. And he's like, get out of here, Satan! Just jerking him off. Come on, get out of here, Satan, you bastard! Just sucking the guy's dick.
Yeah.
Right? Then the guy's dick gets hard and his mom faints.
I think
we're saying things that should be legal or should be illegal.
should be illegal. Like maybe getting a midget and having plastic surgery on the midget so that it looks like a child. Like a specific child.
That's illegal.
Is that
And then it takes a video of you having sex with someone's son. It looks just like their son and mailing it to them.
That's awesome.
That is so tight, dude.
That might be the perfect crime.
Had a great time at Skankfest.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone, especially Brooklyn Bazaar. What a great, wonderful venue.
Have you heard?
What?
We're kind of on the outs with those guys. Apparently, they made some stuff up about how everyone was unsafe because some ginger was there. It was weird. It's very odd.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Brooklyn Bazaar is.
I invested in the Brooklyn Bazaar after Skankfest. I own 25% of Brooklyn Bazaar. Why wasn't I made aware of this?
Why would you buy a Pollock fucking wedding hall?
Because why wouldn't I?
They also said that.
I make smart investments, Chris.
They also said that the person in question was brought in through a side door. Now, I was doing drugs in all sorts of crevices in that building.
Don't say that out
I
loud.
did not find a side door. Alex, you fit in smaller spaces than me.
There were absolutely no side doors.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, front door.
I thought I heard a helicopter at one point. Maybe there's a helipad on top of the place.
You're just fat Henry Hill from Goodfellas.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was the fucking coke paranoia.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Makes a lot of sense now.
And Skankfest weekend, yeah.
God knows if they brought it back with them or if they just left it in the hotel
I
room.
feel like maybe they just made some semen smoothies and that was a wrap.
Yummers.
And then, of course, we did Zach Amico's Midnight Spook Show.
That was fantastic.
That will air tomorrow. If you're listening to this live, that will air tomorrow night on Gas Digital, midnight. I might jump in the chat if I'm available.
I was fooled during this because leading up to it, I was told it was going to be Night of the Living Dead. Turns out we had to watch, what was this, a Serbian film? Was that what it was called?
We did. We watched a Serbian film.
Never saw it before, Chris.
I mean, it's a small art house film. I like, we got to show. Nick,
Chris, there's
you're
baby
aware of
rape.
Well, why would you? Spoiler alert.
Baby rape.
Some people haven't seen it. They're going to watch it for the first time tomorrow, live with us.
Baby rape. It actually turned away Tony Hinchcliffe. He left very shortly
Tony
after
Hinchcliffe
that.
pussed out.
Guess Tony Hinchcliffe found himself in Burntown.
Websites maybe like 5-10 years ago where it was like autoplay everything, fucking like moving shit. It's like this is very busy and very like low class and like bad.
It's hard to find anything.
Short Netflix.
Are you saying Netflix is for poor people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, let's say that.
I like it. Nick DeLeon.
No, it's not WWE Network.
Hell
The
yeah.
Alliance won. You guys saw the big news today.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman are now. Paul Heyman's now in charge of Raw. This is real life, by the way. Paul Heyman's in charge of Raw. Eric Bischoff is in charge of SmackDown. Finally, after 18 years, the Alliance has won the war.
That story has finally paid off.
Finally.
That storyline from
Vince
2001.
genius.
And did you? I learned about this today. Did you hear about the Tommy Dreamer story?
No, but I
did.
I'm sure it was recorded on this network.
When he was really down and out, he planned on going. I forget which WrestleMania. There was a WrestleMania in Houston. He planned on taking a gun into the crowd, into the stadium or whatever arena.
Harley Race did that already.
And he was gonna jump the table, go to where Heyman was broadcasting from, shoot him in the back of the head, and then kill himself. He had that plan to murder suicide during a WWE.
That would be troubling.
Wow. You guys, you heard it here first. Tommy Dreamer, gay.
That is a gay thing.
That's what it sounds like.
Commit murder suicide.
I've heard, yeah.
We polled an entire room of people playing bar trivia earlier today.
And they all agreed.
Or earlier this week. They all were like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
gay.
That could be perceived as a homosexual act.
Yeah. I know, we know Johnny thinks it's straight up gay.
Johnny, your thoughts?
Straight up.
There you go.
Gay one, Johnny.
Really?
Just ask this scientician.
Pat from Munaki, who I blasted in the past, guys. So I'm driving his truck near News Corp one day. I was like, "That's Pat from Munaki." What an interesting.
Wasn't
world
he
we
a
live in.
professional eater for a
He
while?
was. Yes.
Now that guy would definitely throw this contest. Luckily, he's not in it.
Yeah.
But Zach is buddies with what's that black guy who chugs stuff? Alex, Nate, one of you.
OJ?
No, he's that black guy who kills white women.
Smoke weed every day.
I believe his.
Cause we ripping with Griffin.
Quadron. You know, I hear they're bringing Destiny. They're going to bring Destiny 1 into bring it back, and they're gonna incorporate it into the Destiny 2. Like they're not going to make a Destiny 3. They're just going to call it Destiny World.
Yeah.
And then they're going to just have DLCs for like extra content. But if you don't buy that stuff, you can still play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be
do
kinda
your
cool.
viewers even know what you're talking about right now?
Oh, we're talking about the they don't care.
Okay.
They know. My viewers are actually your viewers.
You know,
you and Bobby.
I'm just proud of you because I'm looking at your setup and I'm like, dude, this guy is killing it.
I wanted to have you on when it was shitty because it looked like
But
the
look
other
at
side of
this.
your room.
This is amazing. Oh, dude, don't start with.
That's what people would say. Everybody was like, "Is that the other side of Steve's room?"
You know what? Kind of, I laughed at it every time you came and did my podcast, but when you always referred to my room as a dorm room, and the way you talked about my girlfriend,
I never. Oh, you don't. Wait.
because
You backtrack.
The Hello
Don't
Kitty,
act like
the Hello Kitty, or
I never
hey,
talked about
gonna-
that on your
you gonna
podcast.
pick her up from middle school, Steve. Are you
Steve, you revealing shit. That stuff we only did in the chat, man. We never talked about that on your podcast.
All right, we can edit that out.
It's the Real Ass Podcast. It's your boy Louis J. Gomez.
Where's Rattlesnake, Real Ass Dude, Ultimate Minority, Joan Jett of Comedy. I got a lot of names.
With knives, shivs, homemade weapons, they're jumping you. If you, it's like you want to like be under the radar. You don't want to be a big fucking jacked, scary dude.
But that's the same thing like we were talking about when you're a big celebrity.
Well, that's
and
what I
you
was
got
saying.
fucked up
With
behavior.
our mom, my mom, I got big enough to the point where I could just move her out of the way, and then she just moved over to weapons. And then it was fucking,
she went to hardcore.
Knives, shivs.
Yeah.
Start jumping.
Kendo sticks.
You's a real Puerto Rican now.
Yeah,
Was she Puerto Rican or your dad?
No,
was
my
Puerto
mom
Rican?
was white trash.
White?
Yeah.
God damn, a knife is a knife. White trash or Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
No, she would use.
The Puerto Ricans piss on them though.
She would use broomsticks a lot.
That's a good one.
But it was
It wasn't clean.
it was cheap. It was cheap, like those.
The aluminum ones that bend?
Yes.
Oh, those are.
I told this story on the show before. One time, my mom was beating me with this aluminum broomstick, and it broke in half. So she had like two of them, right? Right, but it became a sharp, jagged edge on both ends. So there's like metal, sharp, jagged tools she's hitting me with, and I grabbed one, and my sister was sitting right next to me. And I pulled it from her, and it stabbed my sister in the face. It fucking literally cut her cheek open, peeled back her fucking cheek.
God.
It was like the most fucking like fucked up.
Damn. Now, if she was that close watching her brother get beat,
She
a
was
bit
loving
sick
it
too. She's a bit
She
sick
was-
to
yeah,
be.
to be honest with
I
you,
mean, what the
She
fuck?
used to get the weapons from my mom. I feel bad for years about it, and she's listening to the show right now, I guarantee. I don't feel bad anymore because I think back about how she was probably there just going, yeah, get him. Get him.
Hyping it up.
I mean, even
Doggy, she was like Jimmy the Mouth of the South Park. She had a megaphone. She's just jumping up and down. Yeah.
even with a camera phone, there's no reason to be that close to a fight. You
Doggy,
know?
she was way into me getting my ass kicked all the time. My mom would come at me with whatever weapons was available, anything that was around, and my sister would just go and give it to her. She had a belt that had like just like a studded.
Janice, get the tables.
She had like a belt with like metal like latches and.
It's the Real Ass Podcast.
Military breakfast.
A jelly donut.
You eat it, they're paying for it.
Whose Foot Locker is this? Oh my god.
Oh man, yeah, dude. It was a fucked up childhood. I
Right.
don't know.
All of it.
That's why I
All
don't
of it.
understand. Like the people who are offended in this day, how good your childhood must have been.
I always say that. I agree with you completely.
Your
It's a very
childhood must have been
privileged.
great.
It's a very privileged way to be, where you can
Fair enough,
even build up emotion for some of the shit that people build up emotion for. I'm like, God damn it, dude! Like either how empty or how fulfilled already is your life.
We were talking about this backstage at Skankfest. Do any of you guys dance?
No. Yeah.
You
A little
do?
bit, yeah.
Like, do you dance out of joy? Like, so there was when I'm
at
talking
a
to
party.
some girl, and they're like, she was talking about like how she could just get.
If you ever see
excited.
me dancing, just realize that it's taking every fiber in my body in order
Right.
to do that because I don't
And it was
want
the,
to.
it was the girls, the massage girls too, and another female comic were talking about how they can dance for anything. Like, oh, pizza's coming, who? And they just did, and I was like, fuck, I don't have that. Like whatever that is
That
that you
sense of
girls
joy or the
had,
ability
yeah,
to
that
dance?
joy. Like I don't have that joy. I have the ability to dance. I don't use it, but like I do not have that, and I don't think you guys have it either.
No, I don't know anybody that women do that. Women go out and they dance for fun. I don't know many men who go, "We're going dancing."
But they can dance over simple shit
men
too
are
to
trying
express
to fuck.
joy.
Right.
So if a man was going to a club to go dancing, right?
He's really going to fuck.
He's going to fuck, unless he's gay, and then he might be going to dance. But I believe that they will dance in order to get pussy. And if you're okay at dancing, I'm assuming it's probably kind of fun. I'm not good at dancing, so for me, like, you know, it's like I feel if you're good at dancing, you hit those moves. It's like you fucking just slip into a fucking boom, boom, boom. It feels good. You're on beat. You fucking. If you're not good at it, it's so much. You're like you're thinking. You're like it's like it's clunky and
And
fucking. It's not fun to have to think about it.
But those same people, they can't get on stage and talk in front of people. We do that effortlessly.
It's the Real Ass Podcast.
Such a boring bitch.
What have you been doing?
Look at her, she just didn't even care. She's like, who cares? Got through my phone. If you guys had my phone in a locked room over there, I'd shut the studio down and I'd put a chair through that window right now. But get my fucking phone. What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? Everything.
You treat it like there was a fire in here.
Anybody who has my phone could ruin my life. They could ruin it all.
Yeah, he's not a good person.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
There's a reason why it's still here for thousands of years. This idea of, hey, let's forgive so that we could feel better, right? I think usually things get weeded out if they don't work.
Well, it's hard to forgive someone who doesn't feel bad about what they did. It's one thing if you're like, man, I fucked up. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Yeah.
And you're like, I get it. You're a person. Human beings make mistakes. I forgive you.
Yeah,
but if someone is like, you weren't 12 with your mind, your body, and he's talking about fucking you when you were 12 years old. Like, I have an 11-year-old daughter. The idea of a grown man fucking her.
No, we got to
makes
go
me
bow hunting.
Violent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna forgive him.
No.
Yeah, you might fuck him up, and then after you fuck him up, you'd be like, you know what, it's all good. Well, you know what I'm saying? After you put a fucking arrow in his fucking gut
in
one
his
good
head,
time,
that's it.
You know, oh yeah, it's all good.
So
We're
maybe
good now.
forgiveness is like misconstrued. Maybe you're not actually forgiving the person and letting them off for what they did, but maybe you're just removing them from your consciousness.
People forgive when they're not gonna do shit.
Yeah.
People forgive when they have realized I'm not gonna slap the shit out.
It's like when someone huge punches you in the face, you're like, I forgive you, bro. Nah, you know what?
You got it, Brock
I'm
Lesnar.
attaching myself
Brock
to
Lesnar, you got
Jesus.
it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I can't carry this no more.
Mike Tyson spits in your face. I forgive you, Mike.
Hey, Mike, we don't know what we do. We don't know what we do sometimes. We make mistakes. We all make mistakes out here. You know what I mean?
In the street when somebody gets punched in the face, and be like, yo, all right, you got it. You got
That's
it, fam.
it,
That's
hey,
forgiveness.
yeah,
That's forgiveness.
Listen,
That's forgiveness.
I'm a Christian. I'm not going to be out here fighting you, Mike. You're not going to attach me to the worst parts of my nature.
By the way, that's probably when I would get to that point of forgiveness, when you want to do something to somebody so bad, but when you get the opportunity, you don't.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
I said, this is my money. I worked hard for this money. I know you was there when I was selling crack and forging check, but you had joys and nice shit.
I know that your life was hard, but if you had to live it over again, it made you who you are.
It made me who I am. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. But it's a fucked up thing to ask someone when they tell you they were molested by your mom's boyfriend, and that you had a baby with this guy when you were 14, and he's married, and another one, and by the time you're 16, you're pregnant with a third.
Yeah.
No
Dropped
one would
out of
ever.
school in eighth
Yeah,
grade.
selling crack, getting shot in the tit. No one would ever ask you to live that life again, but you wouldn't change it.
I don't know, Joe. I mean,
it
made me who I am. But I look at life like this. I think I would, everybody couldn't have dealt with the stuff that I dealt with it like I dealt with it. Like some people commit suicide, some people are always depressed. I kind of feel like I was a chosen one. God take you through something so it can, to make other people see. Maybe I took burden that everybody else was going through in life, and I was a chosen one. And then I bring it out and make it funny. So I'm here to make people let people know it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish.
Right.
I don't dwell on shit I don't have control over. I can't change the past, but let's laugh today. And I tell people every night on stage, when you can laugh about it, you got control of it.
That's a powerful thing, to be able to look at your life like that and just take ownership.
Yeah, like my first kid's father, he hates me. He fucking hates me. You know why? Because I'm not that little girl rabbit anymore that he had control of, that he beat. And, I was a little girl searching for love. In this whole situation, I learned to love myself, Joe.
Are you still in touch with him?
Yeah, I talk to him. He be cussing me out.
He's like he's not in jail.
Yeah, that's what I be telling him. I was like,
lucky.
dude, you're a child molester.
He's a child molester.
You're a child molester. I'm not a child molester. I remember when I needed closure. And I was out here in L.A., and I'm starting to tell these stories about my life, and I just wanted him to apologize. He shot me in the back of the head, fucking beat me. Jesus Christ. So I wanted him to apologize. And my husband was like, why do you need him to apologize? I said, I just want to hear it. I just want to say, Rabbit, I'm sorry. So I called him up, and I said, Daryl. We started talking. Oh, shit, I said his name.
Uh-oh. Daryl, you're going to jail.
So I called him, and I asked him to apologize. And I said, how can you fuck a 12-year-old and you grown and you married? You know what he said? He said, your mind and body wasn't 12. And that shit kicked me in my fucking chest like a horse. And I boo-hoo. And that day, Joe, I decided I was no longer going to ask him to ask me to forgive him. I decided to forgive him. I forgave my mama. I forgave my mama boyfriend and everybody else that stepped on me. And I said, no longer am I ever going to want to come. I say from that day on, I'm never going to ask y'all for forgive. I'm never going to ask you again. I decided to forgive you. And that day I forgave him, my mom, and her boyfriend. And
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
Exactly what caused them.
oh, they'll fix that shit.
They figured it out.
Oh yeah, they'll fix that, Joe.
Yeah.
If they can fix a soft penis, yeah, they'll fix a man dick. But we can't do nothing with our body. Yeah.
Exactly.
Stop fixing soft dicks and everything else will be solved.
No. I don't think that would work. They already fixed that, so they can't say stop fixing soft dicks. They'd have to unlearn. They'd have to unlearn Viagra.
Look, just let the man dick do what it do. When it die, let it die. Then that's at the point where the lady need to know she need to put some cocoa butter up on it, help it slide across his thigh.
I didn't know that article was going to come out. I didn't know. So I went to...
Nobody hit you up and was like, yo, get ready for your life to change.
I didn't. I had no idea that I'd be in it. I thought they were going to do an article about Florida State. So I went to D.C. to interview at my uncle's lobbying firm. He had a lobbying firm in D.C. And I met with this man. I think I know his name, but I can't remember it totally.
Yeah.
But I think I know who it is because I met the guy a bunch. And I just went around from like all the heads of the different departments of my uncle's firm and just met with them and kind of to figure out what I wanted to do and kind of like see if I could get a job there or whatever. Yeah. And one of the guys said to me, I was 25 years old and 25. Yeah. 25 years old. And he goes, I'm 52 today. I said, yeah. And he goes, I'm very, very wealthy. And I'd give half of all the money I have in my savings to be 25 for 1 week. And I went, really? And he goes, yeah. So my advice to you is walk out of here and do not get a job here and go live your life. I said, really? He goes, every man in here that you'll talk to would give all their money to be 25 once again. You're not going to be able to get this again. Go live your life. He goes, go to fucking Europe. I'd already been to Europe. He's like, go to Europe, go to Chicago, go to New York, go to
go to the new IKEA in Glendale.
He's like,
buy a chair, put it together.
Go live your life. All I remember thinking was, I want to run a fishing charter out of Key West.